Well, thank you very much, Monique. It's a great honor being here today. Thank you, Susan Rutledge. Seriously, it's an honor being able to stand among such estimable poets, artists, political voices, and voices of social change. I believe it was Ernest Hemingway who said something along the lines of, "Writers should never talk," but as an Irishman with the gift of the gab, I couldn't disagree more. If writers don't talk, social change is virtually impossible. When Lord Byron saw that there was riots among those needing in England, he stood up in Parliament and gave voice to those who were disadvantaged. In the 1950s, Allen Ginsberg was able to publish Howl, instigating social change and allowing for a new voice in poetry, comparable to his friend Jack Kerouac's famous prose, as in On the Road. Today, the first poem I have to share with you is a poem that I believe espouses words of hope and words of joy. In a day and age when war, suffering, chaos, and toil is tearing not only the world apart, but our nation, I hope it will be a voice of unity against these blustering and turbulent shades. It is the title of my latest book, as published by Ulris Press, my Canadian publisher. It is called Adam's Lament, and I believe it is a lament as well as a song celebrating myself in the triumph of our times, as well as its loss. Shall we find peace there, lost in the garden, where the river runs sweeter than the cold hard years? Shall we find peace there, immersed in the meadow, and the green hemlock umbles, tall and sad? I saw you walking over 7 mountains to the tree of knowledge, dressed in white, your hands open with a heart full of laughter, your mind buzzing with an undying thirst. Oh, will you come down, dear lady of darkness, and drink in the silence of your lonesome sun? Oh, will you come down, child of virtues, and dance in the open places beneath the moon? I saw you smiling, cooler than the north fresh wind, where my words fall heavy on the threshold of love. I saw you bathe in a lake of shadows and sing of death on the other side. Oh, what did you see, my blue-eyed stranger? Oh, what did you see, child of the West, on that foreign shore of no tomorrow, in that kingdom of lies and sweet distress? I saw you cross the wild distance and break ties with the gathering dawn. I saw you sing with angels and demons and talk with Neptune in his hidden garden. I crossed a bridge of hungry giants and traversed wildernesses of song and pain. I wept against the rising of the moon and knew the wilderness that breaks all voices. Here where all voices are stilled, we must cry together and stand against the gathering shade. Here where all voices are lost, we must resurrect them against the megaphone of our reality. For what is time that cannot speak, and what is motion that cannot move? What is a world if it stands divided? Let us bring unity. Let us raise our word. It is a great honor, seriously. 3 weeks ago, unfortunately, I was lying on an operating table. I lost my eyesight at 5.5 to optic nerve atrophy, which is the loss of the nerves which process vision. I eventually was able to learn Braille, but the process was long and very, extremely difficult. Fortunately, through the support of individuals such as my TVI, Catherine Blau, who helped me learn the difficult code that is still not recognized as a language under United States law. Through the love and support of my family, my mother, who is here present, Eileen Evans, my brother, Brian Evans, individuals like my yoga instructor and spiritual leader here, Heidi Passionate, and my godchild, Andrew. Over a year ago, I was able to put together one slim volume of verse inside the Midnight Veil. At the time, I thought it was simply a side project, a little thing I did on the side, which was going to be utterly useless in the end. After all, most of my friends and colleagues were not writers, they were politicians, and I was expected to walk in their footsteps. But a voice within me was not going to be stilled, and I was able to compose in the shadow of T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, Ginsberg, and Jim Morrison, a verse that eventually attracted the support of my current publisher, who is brave enough and noble enough to champion an author, a young author such as myself. The next poem I have is one from that collection. It is a song written in great respect for our lovely Hudson River, a natural trademark of this territory, which the likes of such as Pete Seeger was able to keep intact. God bless his soul. Shadows on the river pass before my eyes, like visions of tomorrow few men realize. Shadows on the river drift on slowly by, like the words of an old man as the day begins to die. Shadows on the river recede into the haze, like captions on a billboard trapped in some urban maze. Shadows on the river sink into my brain, like pages from a torn book I read to ease my pain. The following poem I have for you was one written before my stay in the hospital. I had recently reread Invictus and wanted a rallying cry of hope to my family and those in need. At the time, I was unsure whether I could match the poignancy of lines, such as, "It matters not how straight the gate, or how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul." But I believed that I had something to say, that there were words to be shared with my generation, which could offer new hope and a realization that no matter how tough times get, all one needs is one smile, one beating heart, and change and progress, liberty and justice can be realized. So I penned these words. It is called Everyman, named after the medieval mystery play, which I was studying at the time under the great medievalist, Dr. Dean Emerson. He's retired now, but this poem is dedicated to him, to Susan Rutledge, to Heidi Passion in here, to Monique Kavakian, and Barbara Charsinski, who offered great assistance last time I was looking to share my words with the world. Thank you. As I face this cruel sojourn between twin worlds of wrath and sand, I will endure the nightmares harrowing and clasp your fear-begotten hand. Shed not a tear, my dearest one, for those miles which are to be. I have brooked every one in my anguished memory. Hoist your troubles on the stars and leave them there to flicker and fade. Heaven has fashioned these bones, and towards heaven are my trials made. Nail me to your blistering cross, and see if I dare to flee. Thou art my king and only sovereign. This hour passeth for I thee. And the last poem which I have for you today is a song of love. I believe it was Tolstoy who suggested that the answer to the world's sufferings, that divine truth revealed to all religions, to all creeds, to all beliefs, to all peoples around the world, is truly and most definitely found in those tender moments shared between kindred voices, kindred spirits. The word of love is one which is too often abandoned in my present generation and in the world at large, mostly because it has been, as with most words, misused. It has been used triflingly, it has been belittled, and it has lost its note of poignancy because of how often it has been used. Yet I believe it is the most central and important aspect of the entire world. Today, we are honored to be standing in the presence of those who have opened their houses, who have opened their hearts, who have opened their souls and their minds to a spirit of progress as well as love. This poem is dedicated to all of you. Absolutely, I was squatting there. Thank you so much. It helps me up, guys. Much more spectacular. Thank you so much, seriously. Doing crouches here, I'm losing weight. It's a short one, I promise, no worries. It won't be going on for another like 10 minutes. It's called Every Night. I was a young man when first you came to me. I came out of the turbulent sea, lost and forgotten, tired and torn. Come in, she said, I'll keep you warm. Every night I pray, every night I listen, every night I think, how are you? Far across this sea, this age of wild distance, woman of ghosts, how I long to be with you. Darling of dreams, how I long to stand with you always. The world's behind us now. The star beams of our lust never touch the ground, where we lie naked, unfolded in each other's arms. Though the passing of the years has worn our souls to dust, from these ashes a fire is born, a fire older than the hills, that speaks with a tenderness 1,000 swords, 1,000 lances. Years uncounted, torment unimaginable, cannot break. In this way I raise my prayers, and cannot be stilled by the gathering shade. For I am not one with the darkness, and I am not one with the light. I am not one with the shadow, and I am not one with the rising day, but with the noon that promises beginnings, and beginnings that cannot cease. Every night I pray, every night I listen, every night I think, how are you? Far across this sea, this age of wild distance, woman of dreams, now we are gathered as one. Darling of ghosts, your death has ceased, and life everlasting has come. Thank you.
Thank you, John, so much. Honored.